Our final guest this evening is a writer, director, and lip gloss connoisseur who was raised in Peru, Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, Brazil, and the United States. She is artistic director of the Free Street Theater, founded in 1969, way before she was born, and an assistant professor in the theater school at DePaul University. Above all, she believes in the power of poetry and performance to build community towards social change. She's also going to be appearing at 20 by 2 in a couple weeks. Please welcome Coya Paz.
I think so. Can everyone hear me? Yeah? Great. Thanks for having me. It's a rough Thursday. I spilled my coffee 3 times. Unbelievable. And I'm sick. My head hurts. And I'm tired. And then I'm triple tired because I'm sick and I haven't had any coffee. And no time to do laundry. And I'm wearing a weird outfit because I've had no time to do laundry and I spilled coffee on the one decent thing I could put together. So now I'm trying to figure out how to make ripped jeans and an ill-fitting blouse look even remotely professorial. And in the middle of all of this, people keep texting me with questions and it isn't even 9 a.m. and my 4-year-old is running wild. I catch her trying to draw her own bath and I ask her why. And she says it is because she wants to go surfing. And I'm like, for real? And yeah, she's for real. She actually has gotten her little baby surfboard out of toy storage and put it in the bathtub. And I say, no, I need you to get dressed and ready for school. And she says, okay, mommy. But then she gets stuck under the bed, and I say, what were you doing under the bed? And she says, exploring. And I say, have you eaten your breakfast? And she says, oh, I forgot to tell you I spilled it. And I say, where? And she says, over there. And there it is. Cereal all over the floor, and I'm trying to find a rag to clean it up. But then my daughter is like literally trying to climb the walls. And I say, what are you doing? And she says, oh, I'm trying to climb the walls. And I say, well, you can't do that, please. But that please is pretty sharp. And she says, that was a fake please. And she's right. It was a fake please, so I try again. Please don't literally climb the walls. And she says, okay. But when I come back into the living room, she has taken all of the dining room chairs and knocked them over and is in the middle of building a fort with all of the dirty towels I've just thrown into a corner until I have time to do laundry. And I say, oh my God, what are you doing? I know exactly what she's doing. She's building a fort. And I say, can you please just get dressed because I have a meeting at 9:20 and you have to be at school in 15 minutes and I cannot afford to be late, not today. And she says, okay. And I say, really, for real, right now, do not do anything else. Just please get dressed. And she says, okay. And I go to fix my hair and I hear her running up and down the hallways and I yell through the bathroom door that it does not sound at all like she is trying to get dressed. And she yells back, yes, I am getting dressed. And I yell, you better be getting dressed. And all she says is, hi-ya! And I hear something fall over. And so I yell, it sounds like you are practicing karate and not getting dressed. And she says, because I am practicing karate, because I am already dressed. And I say, with shoes? And she says, with shoes and a hat. And I think, wow, impressive. Maybe we will make it on time. And I come out of the bathroom, and it is not Halloween or anything, but my daughter is dressed head to toe like a witch. Long black dress, black boots, black cape, and yes, sure enough, a hat, a tall pointy one, and she has a broom and 2 stuffed rats cradled in her arm, and I say, that's your outfit for school? And she's beaming, and she says, yes, do you like it? And I just sit down on the floor and start to cry. And it's not because I feel desperate or because I realize that my morning has totally and utterly fallen apart. Like, there's no way I'm going to make my 9:20. And that means my whole day is going to be running 30 minutes behind. And it is definitely going to be one of those days where I'm leaving one meeting early to get to the other one late, to the next one. But so what? Come here, I tell my daughter, and I give her the biggest hug. And I know I'm being a weird mom, crying and hugging her. And I just say over and over again, I love you so much. I love you so much. And I do, man. I know most parents think this, but I have the best kid in the whole world. I mean, she is seriously the best. She is funny and ridiculous and fearless and inventive and smart and, yes, totally wild. It is out of control and I love it. I've never been that way, never. I've always been worried about what other people think and so totally scared of the world, but she is just the best, and I'm crying because I love her so much, and I'm crying because I want another kid just like her, and I'm crying because, well, I'll be honest. For a long time, when people would ask me if I was gonna have another kid, I would be like, nope, just gonna have this one awesome kid. Because have you met my kid? She is totally exhausting. I have 2 jobs, and I'm naturally lazy. If it were up to me, I would spend all day lying on a sofa reading magazines or like staring at a wall. That's seriously one of my favorite hobbies, sitting and staring at a wall. And my partner is the same way. She doesn't stare at a wall, but she does like to spend a lot of time on the internet or like taking a nap. But the point is that the 2 of us are totally compatible and that we would like to spend all of our free time pretending to be vegetables, but then we are the mothers of this child who has never been still for 1 second in her whole life. She moves in her sleep. Every morning when I brush her hair, we have this conversation. I say, hold still, and she's moving her head like this, but she says, I am holding still. And I say, you are most definitely not holding still. And she says, well, I am doing the best I can, which is probably the truth. So yeah. For a long time, I thought it was probably for the best that I not be outnumbered because maybe the next child would be super chill. But what if that child were also like this first child, and then my whole life would be like living with very bright, very gorgeous Tasmanian devils? But then the more time I spent imagining how overwhelming it would be to have 2 kids, the more time I was spending imagining the second child and how cute they would look in my daughter's hand-me-downs, and the more time I was thinking about how much I loved my daughter and how great she had been at every stage of life and how much I missed little baby feet and milk breath and how it felt when they first start talking. And I could just picture the second kid, how great they would be. And I just kept thinking about how I have 8 brothers and sisters, which is a lot, but I can't imagine my life without my sisters. I mean, my brothers are okay, but I'm like extra close to my sisters. And am I really gonna let my daughter be an only child? And when I brought all this up to my partner, she was incredibly wary because not only are we both just exhausted, but it was not easy to get pregnant with our first child. Not one bit. It cost us a lot of time and a lot of money, and we almost broke up from discouragement, and I had to have a surgery, and do we really want to go through all of that again so we can be outnumbered by adorable gremlins? But actually, I had already spent so much time imagining the second child that didn't even exist yet that my answer was a for sure yes. I mean, I actually felt like this kid was waiting to come into the world. I could almost touch her in thin air, so my partner was like, fine. Let's find out if that sperm donor is even still available, because we both agreed that while we are awesome moms who are obviously 99% responsible for her awesomeness, there's no denying that some of it she has inherited from some guy we don't even know. He's just some anonymous comments on a chart and little vials of product we purchased for an exorbitant amount of money from a sperm bank, but worth every penny, I guess, because sometimes my partner and I are just staring open-mouthed at some crazy thing our kid is doing, and we wonder out loud where she gets that from, not from either of us, obviously, and we just say in unison, sperm donor. Because I am really so sure that he is responsible for her trying to surf in the bathtub. So, okay, we decide to go for it, and it is no surprise that it is not working at all. I say no surprise because actually we tried 16 times to get pregnant with our daughter. I am terrible at getting pregnant, and like every month it doesn't work. We're so stressed out that the sperm bank is going to run out of this donor's product, but they're like, don't worry about it. He comes in every month. And we're like, really? And they're like, yeah, really. That's kind of a weird side gig for this guy. It's been 5 years at least, but hey. I am totally totally grateful to this stranger, so I am not judging. But after 6 months, I do decide to take a little break and go see a really fancy fertility specialist who notes that I'm getting older and things may not be what they used to be. So for like 4 months, I'm doing all of these fertility tests, including one really gross one where they shoot ink into my uterus and then it shoots back out all over the floor, and I look like I'm in a horror movie, but then it's all good news until my asshole insurance company decides to flag our account because they figured out we're lesbians, and then they take 2 months to figure out whether they're going to pay for inseminations at this fancy new fertility place, and then finally they agree that sure, they will. Thank you, Supreme Court. And so I schedule everything with the doctor, and then I call the sperm bank, and this guy who comes in every month for like 5 years hasn't come in for 4 months, and he skipped his last appointment, and they are out of that donor number, and I just start to cry right there on the phone like a baby. And she says, well, we have other Latino donors. Well, she says Hispanic. And I say, well, but I'm crying so hard. And she says, oh, is there a sibling? And I say, yes, there is a sibling, and she's the best. And she says, I bet she's really active. Oh my God, she is so active. And she starts describing all these things about this sperm donor, this man I will never meet, this stranger, but I already know these things because I see them all the time in my daughter. And the lady promises she will give him a call and see if he'll come in, and she'll let me know in a few weeks how that turned out. And in the meantime, I'm just looking at my daughter, dressed head to toe like a witch, wiggling because I am hugging her too hard and crying like a weird mom. And no matter what, we are heading out into the great unknown. Thank you.